All right, let's roll in.
Okay, but yeah, thank you. Thanks for doing again.
Sir, thank you again for your time.
Yeah,
It means a lot out of all these crazy schedules and all that. And I guess I got a little lucky too because it's spring break right now.
hmm it is.
So that's good. That's good. So how
Okay,
you been, sir?
so far so good.
Yeah.
Means this week was okay. Was a break. Was
Okay.
nice.
Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself? I'm sure people will see descriptions and thumbnails on who you are, but it's always good to hear from yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to this lighter talks. I am Bharat Pokharel. I'm an associate professor and also the department chair for Department of Environmental Science at Tennessee State University. I've been here for last 11 years and I'm working as a statistician, modeler, biometrician, a variety of things. I work here as a researcher.
That's quite interesting. That's a lot of titles you have, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I do. A lot of hats I call.
A lot of hats for sure. So coming back to the profession again, involved in teaching in the United States, coming from Nepal, going from Nepal to Australia, living there, and then teaching there, learning there, and then to the States. How does it all sum up to you?
And I was born and raised in Nepal, and I went to Australia for my bachelor degree with honors, and then went back to Nepal and worked for a while for WWF, about 5 years, and then that project was especially conserving rhino, tiger, elephant. Those are the area I used to work in Nepal. And then I decided to come to US for my PhD, and then I got a PhD in force biometrics. The reason I chose the force biometrics is probably something quite challenging and also it's rewarding too. It's a quantitative area which I'm really good at, and also I like to fit models and look at those what we can help support the policymaker or the forest manager to collect some of the facts about the forest and synthesize them or the analyze them and make a information for them. Those information are going to be good for them either making a policy or making some management decision. That's the what I was pursuing my career, and it also quite rewarding because that's where the jobs are. And then if you do any of the quantitative area or the either processing data or now that they call data science, which is quite demanding because we generate a lot of data and then we try to those facts we try to synthesize them or the analyze them, make the information for those people who has to make a decision.
So that's why you attract a lot of international students as well. Looks like all over the
Yeah, we
world.
do. We do have a lot of international when they come here. We do have some financial support as well. Means we call the graduate research assistantship, and then those students they come here, they learn, and then they also get paid, and then it's almost like a free education for them as well. But they are required to work in the lab for many hours. We call it 20 hours per week. That's the standard norms.
Hmm.
And any other student from the US also they do the same thing. We support them, and also they will come to lab and then do the work. What the work means here is either the professional development work
Hmm.
or the research work. Those two things, whatever they do in the lab, they will be better equipped at the end. Means they got a degree. In the meantime, they do research as well. That's why it's very important for us.
So they are getting scholarship, and in top of that, they're getting to work in the university and gain that practical knowledge as
Yep.
well at the same time.
Yeah, that's it what it is. And they get paid based on doing the research work they do in the lab or the field.
That's very nice.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So yes, sir. Talking about AIs and integration on your field, um, what you, you've been focused on. If you could summarize it, how would you put it that on few words?
We can replicate, we can do over and over the same thing. The computer can run thousands of times in a fraction of the time what we probably expect. That means computer or the these tools, the technology has been helping us to address some of the problem we never heard before. Let's think about the climate change could be one of the example. We never had a climate change issue in the past. Was the issue was not probably formalized or was not been buying by the scientific community. But now climate change has become a major problem
Mm-hmm. For
where
sure.
this will impact every single way of life for us,
Mm-hmm.
either living or adapting through climate. And those one, the computing or the AI, and will be able to help us. How can we be climate smart in terms of agriculture, or how can we be much more resilient or resistant to the climate change, particularly managing forests or the crops? Let's think about the crop. In the changing climate, you require a lot of water, irrigation.
Sure.
But there's less water. How can I optimize the use of water to the crop when the crop needs the water? Rather than flooding there,
Mm-hmm.
I want to use a technology, and then there's a sensor on the ground. The sensor will kicks in, say there needs some water for the plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then the water valve will be open up and then irrigate.
So it's a
Means
smart
it's
irrigation
it's
what we are talking
it's
about.
a precision agriculture we call is how precisely we can use it, or smart agriculture as well. Means
Mm-hmm.
how can we be able to respond when the crop needs some water,
Mm-hmm.
or rather than putting a pesticide all over the whole entire field,
Mm-hmm.
we can target in an area where the pest or the insect or disease attacked on the plants are.
Yeah, so a lot of that is integrated in your. So to give some examples of how is AI or technology involved on the agriculture forest department. What are these? Drones would be one of the examples you would
And
say
drone will be
has
one of
been.
the example. We recently bought one of those.
So those have been really efficient and saved a lot of time for you guys,
It is.
saving a lot of travel times and whatnot.
It is, yeah, travel time, and also imagine the farmers managing thousands and thousands of acres. They have no time to go around the field, right? They can use the drone, get the drone, process the image, trying to find what the problems are. Even those crops they have a deficiency on the nutrient or fertilizer, we can also detect those as well. What particular fertilizer or the nutrients are the plant is deficient on, we can apply them. That's the another way of doing those things. Water, nutrients, and then or the pesticide or the insecticide. Those are the areas where we can use those drone or the AI or any other way we can do that. Also detect those one what is the problems are.
Mm-hmm.
And then also recently we also bought a little tractor. It's AI driven tractor. What it does is it drives around
Mm.
and applies the fertilizer or the insecticide on the area where the patches are. One of my colleague he's in Japan right now.
Mm-hmm.
He and I was a roommate in my year 11 and 12. He studied in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Japan and he got a bachelor, master, and then the PhD in computer science. He's a computer geek.
Okay.
And then he
And what
made
what year we are talking about? 1990s.
in 90s. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
early 90s. We were together in Nepal.
Early
Uh,
90 computer gigs. That's a
mm,
whole level thing than what it is right now.
That's right.
So
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's.
and now like he's in Japan right now. We
Mm-hmm.
talk each other, and then he developed a little device called Janto in Nepal, the
The
grinding
grinder, yeah.
grinder, and he developed already. He has a grinder.
Mm-hmm.
It's the AI or the IoT driven grinder. What it
Okay.
does it uses the voice command to run the grinder remotely. Let's say his mom wants to run the grinder,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can give a command from Japan, and then the grinder run in Nepal.
Wow.
That's the same concept he and I was talking at that time was, why don't we do, let's say in Tarai, especially Pahar in Nepal, in the mountain area would not work, but the Tarai is very good for us as well. With the hollow, we're going to have a AI or the machine learning approach, and then what we're going to need at that time is a location.
Okay.
Let's say your field has a boundary. You give us a boundary,
Mm-hmm.
the plow is built in, and we let the plow go and then go and plow the whole entire area,
Mm-hmm.
and then overnight, we were thinking that could probably revolutionize the agriculture, mechanized in Nepal. That's the one other thing we were
That's
thinking.
smart.
That could be something. I think the technology is probably with us, and we need to embrace the technology and use it for our own benefit. And this is a lot of things has happening, and then also in the US. Also, US has been forefront of the technology use of AI and machine learning for the agriculture. Means how we can probably able to minimize the human intervention that saves some dollar, and then minimize the amount of use of fertilizer or the pesticide in a targeted area, or to save some water. And the water, saving water is one of the main thing as well. And then think about in Tennessee, like a lot of the remote area in Tennessee, they don't have a irrigation. Means if you could probably also uh, find a way you can have a smart irrigation system for those farms, the Tennessean can produce more crops,
Yeah.
more vegetables, and many things for all of us.
Yeah, so that was good insight. So, um, just talking on more on the climate change, since you already introduced, I had some questions prepared for you, but since we already are on on that, so let's just jump in. So, climate change, is it really serious? Like, is it really happening? Is it
Yeah,
something we really need to worry about?
I think this is very important. I was teaching a class called Global Warming and Forestry. That was at 2010, 2011, and 2012. At that time, I have a class, Climate Denial. Why people are denying the climate change is already happening. So what we do is we do the research on the climate change and testing a bunch of hypotheses and trying to show that if the climate change is real, if that's real, why sometimes it's so cold, sometimes it's too hot. And when this about a month people, the weather was so cold, and then the people saying, "Are you think the climate is still changing?" And then my answer at that time was, "This is the anomalies in the climate. Means sometimes it's gonna go up, sometimes it can go down. There's a lot of extremes in terms of hot and then the coldness, and that is the one of the worst one because it's gonna flood. Sometimes a lot of rain happen and flooding, and also it is very high heat over the summer." And then those are the things are the climate is changing already. And then what happening is we have seen the impact in our backyard. A lot of things happen in the climate change, the flooding what we see recently, or the fire in California. That could be one of the good example we can talk about.
Sure.
That's the one thing. The dryness, like look at the California weather. It's very very dry, and they also have a lot of fuel load. What we call the load, fuel load on the ground means if the trees are dry, and a lot of the fuel on the ground, if the likelihood of having a fire on that particular location is higher because of dryness, and then they could have a fire. And then when the fire starts, and then it start building the fire, and then the wind play an important role to move the fire in a different direction, right?
Of course.
And then when the fire from ground goes all the way in the crown, it's become a crown fire. Crown fire is a high intensity fire. When the fire is so intensity, even the some of these living material like live trees, they become dry and they become fuel load as you go through. And some of the species which already are the fire prone means that species they also help to burn more, like a palm trees or the eucalyptus tree in Australia. They have a lot of these eucalyptus like a whale, and they are a lot more fire helping to fire start or the fire.
Oh,
They are flammable species, mean they can
okay.
fire. And then those are the things probably and think about. And then other species like a one we call the fire resistant, like a oak, white or red oak, or sycamore. You probably see sycamore tree around and a lot of these areas in the planted American sycamore. They are they are a little bit fire resistant trees. And you can think about those trees probably planting now. The discussion happen. What type of trees should we plant in California on the landscape on the backyard, so that the fire is not more coming to the landscape? That's the one thing. Or how we can make our building a lot more resistant to fire. They are thinking about a number of way having a little fire break
Less
or
woods, I guess.
less wood, and that's important as well, and also put a concrete or like some of the pathway, like have a brick, and then also don't leave clean your house around your garden and around a house. No dry debris or no anything can start the fire. Let me bring back to the climate change issue. There's a couple of things we discussed about whether climate changing or not. Now that's not the debate anymore. Climate is
It's
changing,
changing.
and now our two choices over here. The first choice is how can we live with the changing climate? That's called adaptation. When you're living in the changing climate means we are surviving to this changing climate. And then or if there's a flooding happen, how can we prevent flooding to our neighborhood where we live? Or if the heat stress come, how can we be able to address that particular situation? Let's say heat wave come through a particular month in summer. We could have a community center or the helping center or the let the public know that heat is stress coming up. Be prepared. If you need some help, we can help. Those are the kind of things are the adaptation part.
Is this something that I noticed in Australia?
Uh-huh.
I saw there were boards, a lot of boards, and it would say temperature there. So
If
is it in California?
in California too, like where these fire prone areas, they try to let the public knows that starting a barbecue outside is not is prohibited. You cannot do at that time when there's a fire alert. Means you cannot go and barbecue outside in the public. Means you have to control the fire. Don't bring the fire outside. It's very difficult to.
Right, right.
That fire become uncontrollable. That's the one thing. That's why the if you Australia, if you see that, what is the fire danger or fire alert today is those needle can go the either way. I mean, so
Yeah.
this is today is okay. You can do whatever you want to do outside. Because the weather is not very dry. It's a wet kind of weather. It's raining, and then the fire would not start immediately. Means or if you have a little fire, it would not go that far. Means that's the way they're trying to avoid as much as possible.
So
That's the
they're letting people know that today is really hot day. Like
and is have
if
a
it's
high chance of being a fire.
fire,
Yeah,
fire chances is
yeah.
high. That's what something that I noticed actually. Yeah, hotter the day,
Uh,
I think the chances were high.
hotter the day
Windy.
chance, yeah, hotter and windy days are chances are high, and also to start the fire you have to have a fuel as well. Means on the ground means that's another thing. If we can avoid those fuel or the clean up our backyard and not to keep those debris dry biomass or dry trees or the dead tree around there, and if we can clean them up nicely, it would not have problem. That we try to
Yeah,
avoid as much as
from
possible
our side, that's something
outside.
that we can do.
We can do that. That's the one thing. Other thing for the climate change part, if the climate is changing already, what the mitigation is, how can we avoid the amount of uh, global warming gases, the greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, especially the CO2 is the one of the major one. Could be methane, could be other one as well. There's a bunch of gases which could probably create more climate change, which means that it have a greenhouse effect. What that means is when you have that gas in the particular area, and then when the sun traps in, and then it's not gonna let it go. That's why it's gonna have a lot more warmer. That's the issue for that. This is called the greenhouse effect. The transportation cost. The cost is not the problem here. What the cost is the carbon footprint. Think about the strawberry you grow in Mexico or in California has to come to your plate, and it has to have some gasoline or the carbon footprint. The carbon dioxide has to be emitted when you burn the fossil fuel.
Sure.
You have to use the fossil fuel to bring that from there to here. This is how it is running. And the amount of fossil fuel we burn, the more the fossil fuel will burn, more the problem will create. Means the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will be higher. If we can minimize as much as possible carpooling or buying a public transportation or buying the vegetables and then fruit and vegetable from locally grown places in Tennessee
Local
as well,
farms.
local farmers market, those are the one we helping to minimize or the especially the mitigation.
But there is
This,
a problem with that. It's pretty expensive that way.
here's the one thing. This is called willingness to pay. Means I'm okay to pay a little bit more for that. That's the what we need to probably educate the public, I know there's a price for that locally grown versus the coming from California. But if you think about the carbon footprint, I am probably having that particular strawberry could be one thing. Other one good example. I put my thermostat 71, and now I put it down to 70 in my
Okay.
house. Let's say if you put your thermostat 1 degree down, you probably save a lot of your electric bill.
Mm-hmm.
Electricity come from a burning fossil fuel. If that's the case, I'm minimizing burning more fossil fuel. Means your bill is cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be a little bit. You can wear the jacket in house and make your temperature 1 degree or 2 degree lower than the average temperature. Some people I've talked with my friends, they make 75 or 73 on their home temperature. It's a way higher. And I make like a temperature about 71, 70. 70 is okay to me as well. Means I can survive. I can work with that. I
Mm-hmm.
can wear a little like a lighter jacket at home and then just work on these things. That also saves some energy bill. You can save
Mm.
some dollar. In the meantime, you are also minimizing the amount of fossil fuel that will be burned out there somewhere to get the electricity in your house, right?
To be honest, I mean, I don't see how many people really thinking that I will rather sweat than save the environment.
No,
Like
that's
that's
the
the saddest part. To be honest, it's brutal, but that's what it is.
right, yeah.
A lot of people would, first preference would be let's crank up the AC.
Right, yeah,
Let's stay
that's what they do.
instead of just stepping out and get some fresh air or something.
Right.
That's the habit.
That's absolutely means we all contribute little thing, and then even planting trees. Tree can sequester carbon, and then therefore planting more trees would help, or using like a wood-based product. Or if I have this furniture, I can make this furniture. If you think about this one, upsetting the furniture making, let's say I can make the aluminum-based furniture or the wood-based furniture. Amount of carbon footprint on those two is aluminum has a way higher than compared to wood. If I can store the wood in my house for next 20, 30, 50 years, I'm saving some carbon as well, right?
Hmm.
That means another way of helping to combat the climate change. This is very important for all of us. Maybe this is a long way to go. It's small thing what we do that may be able to help us. And especially in North America, um, we like to drive our own car. One person driving a car,
Yeah.
and then amount of gasoline you had to burn, the fossil fuel you had to burn to drive that big truck. We can avoid the small car, have a small car versus big truck versus do I need the. If you need something, do it. I'm not asking you not to. Let's say the temperature in here is freezing. You have to survive, right? You have to have a heating and all the cooling mechanism. Otherwise, life will be difficult, right? We're not asking you to stop those ones. Do the things as you like to do. Have a pleasure. Have a same thing. Same kind of pleasure can be done by doing a little bit differently. If you are a little bit aware about this, I'm contributing to climate change. I'm minimizing the amount of fossil fuel or carbon footprint myself. I'm contributing or helping to save the planet. That's another way.
There. I think there are bigger businesses thinking about that as well. Replacement of plastics, especially. Plastic plays a big role, doesn't it? How do we
Plastic,
say that?
yeah, plastic played a big role. Two things. One is the manufacturing plastic. Other one is plastic does not decompose. Some
Exactly.
if it doesn't decompose, what happened? The plastic you have the Kroger bag going in the ocean, and you find in Japan. Imagine that where this is more toxic to these plants and animals. They are surviving in the ocean,
Hmm.
and plastic is one of those another culprits. A lot of these people they start. Let's say I don't have to bring a plastic bag from Kroger. What I could do, I bring my own bag, shopping bag, go to Kroger and I put all my grocery in the bag.
Mm.
Like and
Use
that
my
bag,
own bag.
that reusable bag, can mean that I can reuse over and over.
Yeah.
That bag would be much better. I can probably help to contribute a little on the climate change
Hmm.
to minimize the climate change. That's the one other way of looking those things. Other one, if you go to Home Depot,
Hmm.
when you're buying a lumber, the wood,
Yeah.
they have some stamp called FSC.
FSE.
FSC,
FSC.
Forest Steward Certificate Council. That means
Okay.
it's a certification process. What it does is it tells that the timber you buying here
Hmm.
it come from the forest which was managed sustainably.
Okay.
Means that it helped people down there in the local people. it helps the environment, it has been managed and with a plan. They have a lot of these indicators they have. Means if I'm a buyer, I can buy those wood, which is maybe a little bit dollar or more than
So
expensive
it's
than
like buying organic woods.
organic, right? Yeah, buying organic vegetables like a similar to like a, this is conceptual thing. I want to, let's
Mm.
say a mahogany tree was cut down in Ghana or South Africa or somewhere, or even Indonesia. We have no idea where that would come from. If I have known that that would come from a place where the forest has been managed sustainably, means they cut the tree, they plant more trees afterward, they have a erosion control mechanism, they have the people who live around there, they also get the benefit from those wood as well. And also they have a big plan, they have a plan how can, when we're going to cut the tree, when we're going to plant the tree, what, how we're going to do all these things. If they have a plan as well, those are the part of the how to manage the forest sustainably for long run.
So this is managed by the government.
No, this is a non-profit NGO, and the government doesn't play a role here. Here's
So
the third
what
party.
about the ground, the lot, the place, the jungle where it's
They,
happening?
that happening. They said
That's
that
isn't that government property or?
that's that they have a the FSC people go there, and then they do the whole transaction part. What they do is they have to certify that this timber come from a particular forest where that has been managed sustainably. It happened around the globe. You'll be surprised how. And then one thing I see on this one was the transaction cost. Means to do that, all this bureaucracy, you have to pay money, right?
Right.
Consultant has to come and do the work, and all the people has to come and do the extra work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to willing to pay extra couple of dollars extra to get the right wood in my backyard. Let's say a wood come from Ghana, Nigeria, Indonesia, somewhere. I want to contribute to the sustainable management of the forest in those part of the world as well. That means I'm buying something, I'm promoting something which gonna be good for them.
Mm.
They call it FSC, and
Okay.
this is in the US also very commonly used. As the US has endorsed and it has been used everywhere. Home Depot, Lowe's, you probably find those FSC certified wood. You'll be surprised,
Probably, yeah.
surprised to see that little logo on that one. And then a lot of these things has been a some of these agency has been very vocal and also trying to save this thing for us as well. These are a couple of things, and
So
also
you're saying to use those instead of not certified, not
not,
certified.
that's why I like to support that particular mechanism where the timber come from the area where it had been certified, has been managed properly, has been managed sustainably, so that we're not creating more problem on that area. But anyway, regardless of all these external factor, the major thrust over here is how can we promote something which is going to help us to save the whole entire planet for all of us.
Mm.
That's the concept.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so since we are on it already,
Uh-huh.
how is different universities or let's say different institutes are playing their role on doing this?
Okay, university has a mandate, and we do teach, do research, and also share the information to the public, called extension outreach. And especially our job as a researcher, we advance the science. By advancing science, we create some knowledge, tools, and techniques for the public. And that's how we, let's say, one example could be climate change. Climate change was not many people in the US, also around the globe, they were not believing climate change. Now the science has showed that as it's changing, I can see the effect or impact in my backyard. That's what happening. That means the university or the researcher are creating more knowledge and then helping the public. Whatever they don't, the university has a lot of resources. Especially we have equipment, we have the talented manpower, professor, and then the research student, and then all the researchers they come together, and also look at the test the hypothesis. Means this does the climate change has an impact on the soil microbe. That's one of the example could be, are the soil inside the microbe will be impacted, or does the climate change gonna help some of the tree species move north or the northward, or does the climate change affect some of those species decline, or the what happens, we look at the all kind of scenarios. And if you look at the one of those in the farm also, there's one of my scientists over here, he has a underground pipe.
Okay.
He just simulates what the climate change 2 degree more look like, and he look
Hmm.
at the all those microbes and the soil respond in that, or look at the amount of carbon in the soil. We do a lot of these different things what we can think could be something important for the public or for the society. And also we also train the workforce, which means workforce development means we graduate student from here,
Hmm.
we develop the workforce, we train them, let go in the outside market, and then go and then serve to the society. That's what we do it too. And then the university is, based on these research,
Hmm.
a lot of policy formulation at the government level, a lot of management decision make at the management level. A lot of these things happen based on university research.
So this sounds so fascinating, like for someone like me, if I could go back, I don't know, 20, 15, 20 years back,
Uh-huh.
and if I had the experience and knowledge that I had now,
Uh-huh.
then I would probably, focus more on maybe getting my degrees and all that on environment as well, because why not? If there is an opportunity to learn on it, to help this country to actually contribute on the matter of fact what's going on around, global warming, I would have done that. So on university wise, or what kind of courses are like, what's the design like when they are talking when you are talking about agriculture and forestry specifically in your department, in your division in TSU?
What we do, we have a bachelor degree in agricultural sciences, and also a master in a variety of area. And our area is the environmental science master degree, and also the PhD in agricultural science with the concentration or the research focus in the different areas. That's what we do. And then in these areas, what we teach, we teach the fundamental principles, why this thing happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then we use those some applied technique as well. We go and teach the student how to do a particular test with using the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lab technique class, and also we also let the student challenge themselves, saying what are the issues and challenges in the environmental sciences. We bring all these climate change, water, air, and then pollution, and bunch of different issues what we are facing right now, and the student go out there and research, and then come up with a what are the solution what we can do. That's the one thing. Another thing is we teach the student how to do the research.
So I guess what I'm getting here is most of the syllabus is focused on research based, research heavy.
Yeah, it's a lot more research heavy. The reason is research heavy is
And this is, are we talking about undergrad or grad?
grad.
Grad.
The undergrad one, like here the undergrad one. Undergrad one, you learn how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
That means you are taught to do things. You
Mm-hmm.
listen and follow instruction.
Okay.
And then when you beyond the undergrad and you have a little flavor of research, I say, I want to do research. I want to know why this
More.
happened, how
More.
this happened.
Mm.
And when a graduate education is much more creation of the knowledge, means you learn the fundamental techniques already from a bachelor degree.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are moving towards creating more knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna invent new ideas, new things, and where the science comes into play. Means all the research means we are so naive and we try to test the hypothesis, saying why this thing happened,
Mm.
how this thing happened, and then based on your so far, let's say whatever research we do, we put that into a public domain. What that means is I don't want another researcher come and do the same thing tomorrow. I want them to pick up where I left.
Mm-hmm.
I bring something to the public and they understand how this thing happened. And then let's say one example could be fire. We need the fire in the ecosystem, or lighter fire that will help to bring the species back to the ecosystem. Let's say oak.
Mm-hmm.
Oak could be one of the species that we want to bring them back to the ecosystem, which is very important species. A lighter fire will help us to bring those things. That's if that's the case. I do the research. What the next person will do it, what the intensity of fire would be, how much fire every 5 years the fire should be, every 20 years,
More
or
details.
more details, and they can go and find more, and they're going to find more on the other type of forest too. Means that this research we do from the fundamental and keep bringing up into the different levels. That's what the every single research are innovation, and every single scientists are trying to find the new things on their research. That's what it's supposed to be. And then our students are quite engaged as well, and they know. And also our job is trying to teach them how to do a science
Sure.
rather than go and find I gotta test this thing. No, you gotta find what is the gap, what is hasn't been done so far,
Mm-hmm.
and what is the research gap here. And you as a researcher are gonna go and find and tackle. This is the research gap nobody has done so far. I wanna go and tackle this thing and then try to tell the public. That's what we do.
Sure. So you guys have are playing big role in from TSU side as well, contributing on the research and everything
Yeah,
that's going around.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, our many of our scientists work in the many from food science to animal science to plant science, biotechnology. We do a variety of things what happen out there, and then the equipment what we have. Actually, you'll be surprised to see our lab is well equipped. Many of the lab here,
Mm-hmm.
they have a $500,000 equipment, and that equipment the student and then faculty go and run the sample every day, and
Wow.
then they see where the things are, and then that's what we do, and then that means that's what the research is like in the lab. They happen in the lab, and they process sample, get the data, analyze the data, and test the hypothesis, and say, oh, I can see something different here
Mm-hmm.
than the previous researcher.
Yeah.
We try to advance the science on here at the university. Yeah, that's what
You
we do.
you you were deeply involved on this side as well for before you got into the role that you are on right now, right?
Yeah. I still do research, and I'm a department chair, but I do a lot of administrative work as well. But in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
research is the butter and bread for all of us as scientists. You know, I mean, so we do research. We are more curious why this thing happened, how this thing happened. Can I bring some different tools that save some dollar, time, and make some efficiency on the work? How can I do these things? These are the kind of things we do all the times. And technology has been, we always try to go and find a new technology, how the technology and computer can help us to solve this problem. How can we be much more efficient?
Mm-hmm.
How can somebody look at it today? You all have a cell phone. You want to have everything on your cell phone now. Means
Yeah.
our job is trying to create a tool so that
An
everyone
app or
have an
something.
app
Yeah.
or the tools, and then something you can always go and say click on and say I want to see something in Tennessee. And then now that we also trying to see can we recycle some batteries. Batteries are the main culprit as well. I mean, battery has a cadmium and lithium, and they will be much more poisonous in the environment. We don't want to let it go in the those landfill from your garbage. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
can probably separately put them into a recyclable way. They can go in a different disposal mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Batteries, or the you can use like a plastic. Can I minimize the plastic? If we are all conscious scientists or the conscious people, and we can try to save our earth, we can probably minimize those things which cause more problem. If you could do that, if you even saving a bottle or saving throwing a something in the plastic on the on the landfill or some other places, it obviously gonna help us to save the planet. Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, from our side, just a little bit of reduction on our daily uses will be a big thing.
yeah, it is.
Land
TSU
grant.
is a land grant university, and also in Tennessee, also other universities, the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, they both are the land grant university, which means they also bring the knowledge to the public. That's how we do, and therefore we have some research funding and support. We like to do address a lot of these applied research problem to the public. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
what we do.
Trends. Yeah. Did we talk about the
Yeah,
trends?
if you look at about 20 years before and versus now, in forestry or the agriculture, that we all go out in the field, we call it's called in the forest. You call boots on the ground. Means
Boots on the ground.
right. I mean, what that means is you go out in the field, measure every single trees, and bring the trees data, and then make a model and predict them for the whole entire forest. Now the technology has changed so much, means we don't have to do a lot of boots on the ground. We can probably complement those boots on the ground work with the technology. Means it saves some times, resources. That's the trend we have. Now the trend
How would you do that though? I mean, still, doesn't people still need to go and take samples?
that you don't have to, the intensity of sampling could be minimized because if you can probably get some data from drone or the
Or are you talking
high
about more accuracy on?
accuracy and more better image processing. If you think about it, imagine like you will be surprised to see the some of those photos and some of those images. They are so detailed. In the past, it'd be a lot more blurry, but now we have a lot more detailed information. Means we can probably rectify those one with the few plots on the ground. That will save our time for time and money for going out in the field. That could be one thing. Almost all the scientists in our in here, they almost all of them have a drone now.
Mm.
How can I get these information and I'm able to process them so I can get everything what I look for? Much better data, high resolution, accuracy, all these things are very important for all of us. That's why I'm still thinking now. You have to dream something and it will happen probably 5 years down the road.
Yeah, it did happen. You guys,
That,
you didn't think of it. It would be this easy.
no, I never thought about the drone would be that the way we can run things now. Was not thinking about 20, 30 years before, but now things are different.
So that's 100% truth right there. So someone who wants to get into the your specific domain of agriculture or forestry, it's in specific. So for someone who wants to get in that sector, what can they expect? Like what kind of um, courses, or let's say like I said earlier, would their courses include C++, all these coding courses, or will be more focused on field research, or what
Okay,
is the scene?
okay, but there's a
Someone who doesn't, so someone who does not like to get into those, someone who absolutely hates math, for example. Let's just speak to that. Someone who absolutely hates math, would they still enjoy the forestry or agriculture?
you can find your own niche as well. Means what do you
Okay.
like to do? And I feel much more comfortable with marketing. Let's say I want to do the marketing. I want to develop a business marketing tool. That could be one thing. Think about this one. One of the thing was the cost of getting a vegetables at the farm is way way cheaper. When it comes to your door on the fork on your plate, that's become so expensive. About 80% of the things happen in between. Means there's a job in between from the growing vegetables on the farm
Right.
and from there coming to here. Safe storage, transportation, um, all these things happen in between that place. Means you can do a lot more things
A lot of
and a
layers.
lot of layers. Safety could be another thing else also.
Sure.
Taste could be another one. Another one. We want to have a very tasty vegetables. How do we grow that one? Or I want to have a vegetable which is a lot more like a resistance to pest or pathogen. Those are the kind of thing you may want to think about as well. Means there's a lot. This is everyone based on your interest. You can find things in agriculture or forestry when you come here.
um, this is something, because I mean, I don't know, I see most of the kids, they are getting into either computer science or accountings,
Uh-huh.
or business, all this. I don't hear much people getting into agriculture.
What the taboo on the agriculture is, like a lot of people they think like agriculture means I have to go and work in the field, grow cotton or
Exactly.
the potato or tomatoes. That's not how it is. You do a lot more other things on agriculture. Let's say in here biotechnology, you're looking for a variety of tomato which can grow on the changing climate.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to develop a variety, tomato variety which can grow in a less water, very dry environment. I can grow, easily grow. It grows well. How can I do that? That's a research, right?
Sure.
That is not a growing something in the farm.
No, no.
Is a lot of people they have, especially many people who are in this country, they use cotton harvesting. Go and grow cotton, and the cotton was one of those agriculture commodity at that time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they go and out there and find the cotton, and they don't like that much. They don't want to do any more of those. But agriculture is way more than just the growing cotton or just growing vegetables or the crop or something. It does have a lot more things goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you do in science, let's say computer. If you do computer coding, computer science, you can make a tools or the app for the agriculture.
You can still contribute
It
on that side.
contribute to it. And then that means there's a lot of these things are there. Sometimes cross discipline, like let's say that we bring some people from computer science, they do very well because they have a different perspective, right? They bring the new innovation onto the agriculture science as well. Means go and learn the basic fundamental thing first, and also in the meantime develop some research interest. What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And here the one other example I can give you. What I do today, this all depend on the. I did one internship in my undergraduate year.
Okay.
I went out in the field. At that time they give us a computer, a small computer. We call the pen computer. They had a pen and computer. We go out in the field and measure trees and then mark them and then look at the defects and try to find how much timber that tree would have.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, we cut the tree and then make some disc. Look at how old the tree is and all these things. And that really bring my interest. This is something cool.
Is that carbon dating we are talking about?
No, no, we're talking about the age, how old
Age
the
of
tree,
the
age of the tree,
tree. Okay.
how old the tree is.
Okay. Okay.
And we look at the height and then look at the how much you can do the carbon dating
Mm.
as well,
Mm.
and then a lot of things you can do.
Mm.
And those are the kind of things I thought, okay, maybe like, this is something
Interesting.
I'm interested on. And you may want to don't find the easy way out. If you find easy way out, you would not probably find a lot more well paid job. Find the difficult one, or the I wouldn't say difficult one, I would say go outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Say I can do it. If you have a willingness to do it, you can do it. That's what it is.
Sure.
Yeah. Even we have a pre-made and pre-paid. Pre-made is if you can go in medical area, you want to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You can come to agriculture science. You have a pre-made like a concentration. Means you can still take all the classes that required to go to medical school.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do the medical school too. You can still go to veterinary school.
Mm-hmm.
The veterinary is the animal science. We do vet here.
Oh, okay.
But the medical science is still like you can take a wide range of classes what that require you to do, and a lot of classes we offer here and also across the other department, biology, chemistry, and they also offer those classes. If you take those classes, you have a pre-made like a concentration. You can still go to medical school. Why not?
Mm.
You can do that too. Means you can do anything here.
Okay.
We have a irrigation engineer over here. We have a lot of these people. They can do many things. Just you would do in other discipline as well.
Wow, it's very.
Yeah.
It's a lot of opportunities. That's what I'm seeing for someone who's interested.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot of opportunity, and then this is up to you how you're gonna take it. And then
Sure.
yeah, at the end of the day, when you go in job market, the student keep asking me, what they're gonna ask me, what they're gonna ask me. They're not gonna ask you anything. They ask you, tell me your name, and then they wanna have a little icebreaker question for you, right? And then you are gonna open the door for them. Tell
Yeah.
us more about yourself. What that means is they wanna know what you do,
Mm.
what your research are, what your interests are, what you've been doing.
Right.
Tell us.
That's all.
And they'll keep asking based on what door you want to open. And then you're going to open the door which you are much more comfortable with. And that means what you learn here, open the door, go and talk to them, show them this is what I can do. This is what I'm interested on. That's the important part. Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
So talking about international students, where we were talking about earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
So have you guys, from TSU, with have any association with any other countries? Do you guys do student exchange programs or anything like that?
Yeah. I think that in here also they have a student exchange program,
They do. Okay.
but primarily for these American students because they require some visa and all other things.
Mhm.
That's what they do. And they also have a study abroad program, which means you take a class here
Mm-hmm.
and go other university and then take some classes, and also they can bring the classes here. They recently had a big grant, like $18 million grants, which is called Next Generation of Agriculture, means Next Gen grant.
Mm-hmm.
Means they bring the student from here to outside world, trying to show them what is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can probably learn something different than what they practice here, right?
Sure.
That's the one thing we do. And also, for those students who are doing research in the master and PhD level, we don't want to let them go outside, but they are here for a particular reason. Means they are here for research. They are also tied to the research project, and they'll be staying here and doing research on those one.
Sure, they are your assets. So
Yeah, they are. And also they have an opportunity to they don't have a lot of time, like they have a 2 years for master and then 3+ year, about 4 years for PhD, I would say. Within that time you have to finish everything what you are aiming for,
okay,
finish all the classes, do research, and then move on. That's
sure,
what they do.
sure.
Yeah.
So let's just shift some gear and thinking of your during your researches and your experience of these many years, anything that you remember research wise that was fascinating or very interesting that you came across, or you're the process wise that you guys implemented something new, or something that really recalls on your head on top of your head.
I was working on the tree ring, like we counting rings, and then we trying to measure how much a tree grow every year.
Okay.
And then we do have a device in the lab as well. I mean, so we have a scanner, it scans, and the computer software go and align them, each of the rings, trying to see what year the how much the tree grow.
So the ring is from, it's a part of, or a tree that you
Uh,
someone went down there, caught a part of it.
we can core the tree, like they call coring,
Uh-huh.
and then have a little core,
Okay.
and also we can cut the tree and then have a disc from the tree
Okay.
as well. Rather than cutting the tree, we can don't want to kill the tree.
Yeah,
We
of
just gonna
course.
core the tree with a little borer,
Mm-hmm.
core all the way to the center of the tree,
Mm.
and bring the whole core outside,
Mm-hmm.
and then look
It's
at.
like extracting blood out of it,
That's what
out
it is.
of
It,
us.
it is, yeah.
It's a
It is
blood test.
blood, like the same thing.
Uh-huh.
And we measure every single ring how much the tree grow a year. That's what we
Okay.
do. And on this particular task is there's a little darker ring. What that means is the tree grows slower in the winter time, like when there's no like the temperature now.
Mm-hmm.
The tree gonna grow faster after March, or March, April. The tree gonna have a next year of growth is starting afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And then trees growth almost shut down or they'll grow very slowly in the winter month. At that time, we can see the darker ring,
Mm-hmm.
and then those cells are very very small or thick as well. And we can see that this is, and then by looking the whole entire ring, we know that 1 year how much a tree grow,
Oh wow.
and then based on that we can make a model how much a tree grow under such a certain situation scenario. Especially if you're gonna pair the climate data with that particular year, we know what happened to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way of doing those things. And we do all these kind of, this is quite fascinating for us, like we can probably go and look at every single trees how much they grow every year.
Wow,
That's the one. And also we could go and look at the fire scar, how when the fire went through on this forest.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably find a lot of the evidence what happened in the forest. Or the tree grow faster and slower based on how many trees around that trees are. They call competition.
Competition.
Competition. Let's say
Okay.
you have many trees around that tree, means they have to compete for resources, right?
Okay.
Water, nutrients, everything, or the light, everything that they have to compete for.
Mm.
Those at that time the tree grow very very slowly, and we call thinning. What the
Mm.
thinning means, we cut the tree. Those trees which are not a good one, we can cut them around and then give them more resources to a one, right? The one good one.
Just like the pruning on tomatoes, like we
The
talked
pruning,
about. Yeah.
pruning and tomato, right?
Yeah.
We can prune as well. You can, and then it's called thinning. Means thinning
Thinning.
means
Yeah. Yeah.
you take out the unnecessary tree and then have the trees which can grow better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one we do, and by doing this one, the tree gonna respond to that thinning here. It can grow faster.
Mm.
If I have a core, I can see tree grow slow, 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 fast.
Mm.
What happened here? Either tornado gone through here, or the tree died, that tree was survived, or there could have a thinning had happened, or something had happened on that particular year, right? I can probably go and track those one. A lot of things you can do from these data. These are getting these data are quite fascinating, and also is the other one or the fascinating one like a drone. When you fly the
Mm.
drone and bring the picture to your lab, look at the picture how detailed you can see.
Mm.
Now we're working on a individual tree. Let's say if I fly the drone on the top, if
There
I
are
can
thousands of trees. I mean,
thousands of tree.
yeah.
Think about this one. I have a location of a tree here
Mm.
with the XYZ location means the from the GPS.
Okay.
If I match that tree with the drone image,
Mm.
I'm trying to think about how that tree drone image can be used to make the model for that tree. How big the tree is, how much boardwood timber you can harvest from that tree. If I could do that with the computer algorithm, you're gonna
Mm.
do for all the tree, thousands of trees, right?
Mm.
I can tell you how much timber you have. Let's say you are a landowner, you want to
Mm.
sell this forest to somebody else. How much money should I expect from this bidding? Like, let's say they have to go and come and bid. Let's say I want you to sell my timber. How much I will make?
Mm.
I can tell you at the. I can fly a couple of drones and then have a couple of measurements here and there,
Mm.
and then next day I say, you know what, this is how much timber you have. You should be able to asking this much money.
Mm.
That's another thing. Therefore, on this situation, I want you to probably educate enough, or the technology has given us so much data, we could probably able to go and do much better estimate or much more accurate estimate for our landowners.
So accuracy has been
Much better
much better these days.
these days compared to in the past. Yeah. Therefore,
So,
these are the things that are exciting. As
mm.
we do new things in the lab, we publish new paper, we do things in the lab, and that also help us to see, wow, this is very something different.
Mm.
And we go in the public, or we go in the conference there with the public or the other colleagues, other scientists,
Right.
what happening, and then also get their opinion also. And then that's the way we are running right now. Yeah, that's a standard approach any scientist would do.
For sure, and we do appreciate you doing all these things from your end with such an mm, vast experience. So we always appreciate that.
Yeah, there's always like there's a the resources are limited. We have to optimize to use the resources by using other model or
Mm.
some other ways. And trees were everywhere in the past, but
Mm.
now there are limited places we have a trees.
Mm.
We have to plan to harvest which one should I harvest this year to fulfill the need I have.
Mm-hmm.
Or the land is limited as well. How do I optimize the use of this land to make a better use so that I can be able to fulfill the need what I have?
Sure.
These are the lot of these things are going to happen every day.
Sure.
We're going to have these more complex and complex problem going to happen now. We have about 8 billion people right now in 2025. Another 25 years in 2050, we're going to have about 10 billion people. We're going to have a 2 more billion people going to come to this earth. Means we have a same limited resources, same thing. Now we have more challenge
Mm-hmm.
to address these resource, how to manage the resource more sustainably, and also for the future generation. Very, very important for us as well.
Sure, and I
Yeah.
think you guys, through the institute, like I said earlier, as are playing a crucial role on doing that right now.
Okay.
That's definitely always appreciated, sir. Uh, I think we covered pretty much everything today. Anything that you wanna speak on,
Now, we
or
cover,
you have
we,
anything for the?
we had a good discussion, and then thank you for asking a bunch of questions, and then that really helped us to dig into more details for these issues as well. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And at the end, I want to summarize. Um, this is 21st century. We have a lot of problem. The problem didn't come from somewhere else. The problem we create ourselves. The climate change is the anthropogenic issue because we, the people, create the problem. Now we try to address ourselves. Means these problems are gonna be more complex as we go through, and because we're gonna have more people. Means we can address this problem. A problem is not a problem if there is no solution. That means we have a solution, but we need all of you who are watching this one. I need all of your attention and also contribution for these many problems what we have. Therefore, uh, the future is bright, and also these problems also give us more opportunity, and we need to be able to tackle these problems and then address some of these things which will need for our future generation. I really enjoyed the conversation we have today. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate. Thank you
So
so
it's
much.
been my pleasure. I've had a thought of getting you in and talking with you, since you are one of the people, initial people that I got introduced to when I came to Nashville, and also your leadership quality has always impressed me. It might be through your leadership in the university or during the NNA when I was work. I got opportunity to work with you, so it's my pleasure to have you here, sir. And again, um, before we leave out, just wanted to remind everyone to do their part of what they can, as simple as minimizing the use of plastics, and as simple as taking care of what kind of timber actually you are burning,
Yeah,
because I do see when I go to different campings, or I do try
yeah,
to go different places. So I do see they sell their own timbers or firewoods, and there is a reason for that. They want you to burn those and not the ones that you just find anywhere or just break the trees and use it. So those are small things that I think in top of my head that I can think of that I want to throw out there that we can minimize on. So anything that you have that you want to say that in daily use that we can minimize on to start this.
thank you so much. You wrap up very well. You summarize what we discussed today. We all could be part of solution. There's a lot of problem out there. Even like you probably see, do not bring up firewood from outside. That's why you probably see the big
Yeah.
sign everywhere. The reason for that one, I was asking the same question over and over when I was a student. Why is the problem? I can buy a cheaper firewood somewhere else and bring over to the camping site. Why
Yeah.
not? And then the reason behind this one is we don't want to bring a pest and pathogen to that particular location. We don't want to let you to move the firewood different places because the firewood have the some of the insect.
Mm-hmm.
The emerald ash borer, which is one of the major insect here, if we're gonna get into that forest, gonna kill almost all the ash trees. There's a there's a problem out there. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to avoid not to bring those wood from outside. Or if you wanna, if the authority are asking you for a reason, that they ask you not to do this thing. Don't have a fire or don't have barbecue outside today. And there's a fire risk, high risk of fire today. Do not have that one. Maybe listen those one and be part of the solution as well. I think I want all of us. These problems are very giant problem, and one single person cannot do it, or single organization cannot do it. We all has to come together and solve these problems. Even use of plastic. We all like to use a plastic, but if I can avoid to use a plastic from Kroger, it's already I did something good
Mm.
for the society. Do good things which make our planet is healthy and also livable for everyone. It's a common place, common ground, common place for all of us. We all need to enjoy it, the nature, and also the what this beautiful planet offer for us. Which is I really appreciate you listening to me, and then thank you so much for taking part of this solution. Thank you,
Sure. I
thank you.
think I did my part. I helped on spreading this knowledge, whatever you had to share how difficult this and how serious this situation is. I did my part. I'm sharing this with the people out there, and rest is on them for sure. So just if we just continue and do our parts, I'm sure things will be better.
Yeah,
We do hear about one of the solution, or I would say, is plant a lot of trees, planting trees, right? And Sadhguru, someone who I closely look into, follow. He's one of the motto. main motto is about planting trees as well. So, what do you have to say on that side as an expert and scientist?
Yeah, planting more trees are good, always good for all of us because a tree can sequester more carbon. And then you can probably, a lot of people they say, at least plant a tree in your birthday. At least you plant a tree, right? And if you keep planting or encourage other people to plant a tree, and that will help. And especially if you go in other part of the world, which is especially Asia and other part of the world, where deforestation has been a major issue. They keep losing the forest area every year. Forest land and then the number of trees has been lost every year in those part of the world. If you could plant trees, and tree does a lot more things for all of us. It provides a lot of services to us. Not only the timber or the pulp or the fuel wood, anything we looking from the tree, it does provide shade to you. It does provide the oxygen to you. It does also conserve soil from erosion. It hold the soil. Also, water recycling as well means water recharging means it does also help you to preserve the catchment area means it does have a lot of these benefits. And then trees provide a lot of these indirect services we call the services. Goods are the one which come from tree like a timber,
Mm.
pulpwood. Those are the goods from the trees or the forest. The forests provide a lot more services to the society, which we probably see that if we are living close by the forest, the micro or macro climate, you think about this one, the climate will be a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
It's cooler than the outside where there's no trees are. That's another thing. Also, water. The catchment area will have a water recycling or the water recharge. It does a lot of those things for our getting a good drinking water.
Mm.
That's another thing also Sadhguru, you brought the Sadhguru has done a wonderful job. I support Sadhguru.
Mm-hmm.
And he called the healthy soil, which is the soil is the us. If you want to survive in this planet, we have to have our soil health to be healthy, and we have to preserve the soil, conserve the soil. Look at the different type of soil. You're probably able to see that one. The soil has been gone through a if it hard deforestation, compaction, a lot of these things happen in the soil. Versus a healthy soil can grow a healthy food. Our health is depend on the healthy soil. That's the one thing. Forest has been a instrumental to make these soils more healthy, and then they do have a lot of more carbon or the organic matter on the soil,
Mm-hmm.
and it also help you make you healthy living from the soil as well. Means to conserve the soil. Also, soil is also the backbone for our health. Also,
Mm-hmm.
means that's why I really support the Sadhguru's approach, conserving soil for the better future.
Did you, by the way, did you get to go to the to his ashram
Yeah,
in?
I went.
Yeah.
I went there. I invite if you wanna go. They do have a very nice way they do things,
Mm-hmm.
and we try to have a collaboration with the Sadhguru in the Nashville, the ashram,
Okay.
and we try to have a demonstration site here on campus. We are working with them. Hopefully, they'll a lady named called Jyoti, and
Okay.
she came here and give us a talk as well. And then we are like to partnership with them and trying to teach the kids, like especially high school kids or the school level kids. They can come and see
Mm.
what is the soil, why it is important. Are we losing the soil? Are we destroying the soil? And then we can look at the different part of the soil as well. Means that's the one thing we like to have a little demonstration in the farm here,
Mm.
and that is very important. I went there. It's a fascinating place. You'll definitely enjoy it. I would
Yeah, I've drove around there once, but I didn't
fantastic.
stay there. But I drove around.
Right, yeah.
It's a nice place.
I'll connect you with the Jyoti, and then I forget to send you
Sure.
her.
Yeah, I would love to sit down with her and maybe
Right.
talk about her.
Yeah, even podcast. I think that lady is very nice. I think that you will enjoy talking with her.
Sure.
And then yeah,
You
she's
said that on the camera, so you got to do that now.
that's why, yeah. I'll do that. I'll connect you with the Jyoti, and then she'll be
Okay.
able to. and they also go to the climate change convention
Okay.
every year. They have a big booth, and also they support why we need to conserve soil for the addressing climate change issue as well. Soil can hold a lot more carbon than anything else. Therefore, healthy soil is healthy living and healthy planet.
Of course, what we eat comes from the soil, so it absolutely is the very important factor on the whole ecosystem, I think.
Yeah.
So on that, sir, why don't you talk a little bit about Chautari,
Okay.
that you are doing it, not necessarily related to the podcast, but since we are recording, it's good to have so that we can actually let people know what it is.
Since I moved to Nashville since 2014, about 11 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and then we thoroughly enjoyed the interaction with the community and then learning from them. We learned many things from them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was part of the Nashville Nepalese Association for a while, and then we did a lot of these things, and I'm still part of them. And also, we thought like maybe like here the one thing I've been thinking right now. Imagine that you're gonna stay in Nashville throughout your life.
Right.
Think about this one time we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We never thought about this thing until the life. Let's say I'm trying to make Nashville as my home.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be staying here throughout my life. And what are the other things apart from coming to work here I need to do? I need to chat with you. I need to talk with the colleague and friends and sit together and chit chat. Like in Nepal, there's a Chautari.
Yeah.
Chautari is a place, is a resting place, and also a place where the uh, people will come and then talk about the contemporary issue, what happening today,
Yeah.
and then they discuss, they talk, and they learn each other from other people as well.
It's like a coffee shop that you
Coffee
would
shop,
just go in and then just talk.
yeah,
Couple of people, like-minded people, just talk, have fun,
it's like coffee
get
shop,
connected.
We're discussing at the beginning, should we call this a coffee shop or should we call Chautari? And then Chautari makes much more sense. And then we thought like anybody who like to come, sit there, we can chat. And then this is a non-profit making nothing. There's no president, there's no vice president, nobody. It's a community group, right? One of the thing was I was last time we invited a speaker from Nepal is Rabindra Mishra, which who been to overseas, we stay here, and then he went back to Nepal. And many of our audience they like to go back to Nepal, and I wanna ask the Rabindra Mishra, saying, can you tell our audience that what it looked like going back? And that's the one thing I learned from um, my undergrad degree. I was in Australia, and the lady was telling me first thing was saying going to Australia gonna be shocking first, but when you go back to Nepal, gonna be another shock as well because it means you will have a shock. Means that means to have this shock, what he's expecting, what it look like, That's how we brought him, and then he shared what is his experience for moving back to Nepal. That's the one thing. But now this time we asked Dr. Gansam Bhatt to come back and tell us he went to China to teach,
Mm.
and we want to hear. We don't have to all go to China to learn what he learned. I wanna them to share their experience so that we learn many things from those people who travel or who has some experience, and we're gonna find people either in Nashville or across the globe.
Mhm.
Ask them to come and share their experience with us. That's the reason for Chautari, and it's up for everyone. You don't have to be a member. You are a member already, and you can join, or you can remotely join also, or the in person. In person reason is when we meet, we can chit chat many things, right?
Sure. So right now the format is remote.
Right now we try to do one remote, one in person,
Okay.
but the in person one is also broadcast through the Zoom as well. Means
Okay.
almost like is a hybrid. Means if you like to come in person and have some chai and then
Mm.
samosa,
Mm. Yeah.
welcome to come that. If you don't have a time, you've been traveling, you're out of town, and you wanna really join that one, it's gonna be you can join through Zoom as well. But we're gonna record that and also put that through the YouTube. And there's a YouTube channel already been created, and
That's good.
we're gonna put that into YouTube as well. Anybody want to hear later on, they can go and watch as well. Means it has a no profit, nothing. We are not looking anything here. It's a non-profit making, just the soul of community support.
Sure, that sounds very good, and we'll definitely keep you busy as well. And anything that I can do or I can help you guys with, feel free to let me know. And of
Please,
course,
your expertise, especially on this technology, we are not very versatile on technology. Maybe we need help
sure, let me
from
know
you.
if there is anything, and I definitely wish you guys will do definitely wonderful on it. Wish you all the best and
Okay.
good luck for that.
Okay, thank you. I know this is a small community, but we like to do many things.
All right, sounds good, sir. Again, thank you very much for coming, and
Okay.
it was pleasure talking to you.
Okay, thank you.
And really good luck with your with the Chautari and anything and everything that you have planned
Okay.
for the future, sir.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you again.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.